Hi beautiful souls, welcome to my channel. I'm Jo, and today I pulled a single card for the solstice. I know the solstice is happening tomorrow, but I'm just feeling the energy already. And the card that came out was the Chariot. And now at first glance, the Chariot, I'm smiling because I'm so excited about getting this card on the solstice and with the intention of looking at it, the energy around it. And the Chariot card is often seen about movement, success, determination, victory, pushing forward, going after what you want. But the more I sit with it, the more I felt that there's another message here. And because the solstice itself is about a turning point, it's the sacred pause between seasons, a moment when the sun kind of appears to stand still before changing direction. And the Chariot is all about direction. And not just where you're going, but what is steering you, what is directing your chariot. So today I want to invite you into a different perspective around this card. And, you know, what is the Chariot? What if the Chariot isn't really about moving faster? What if it's about becoming powerful enough to kind of stop being pulled in 100 different directions? So when you look at the traditional imagery of the Chariot, you'll see two sphinxes or horses, one dark, one light. This is like the two forces pulling in opposite directions, the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, and yet somehow the Chariot moves forward, not because one side's winning, not because one force is destroyed, but because the charioteer has learned how to hold them both. And I think that's such an important message right now, and especially with the energy of the solstice. And because so many of us are like kind of trying to create something new always, there's a new relationship, a new business, a new version of ourselves, but at the same time we're carrying competing energies with us. So part of us wants to love, but the other part of us is afraid of it. There's this push and pull. Part of us wants abundance, but like part of us doesn't believe we're worthy of receiving it. Part of us wants freedom, but we still want the comfort and stay small because of it. So the Chariot reminds us that growth isn't about eliminating these contradictions. It's about learning to lead them. It's about becoming the conscious awareness that holds all of these different parts of ourselves without letting them take over the wheel. Being that post, and not standing there all loosey-goosey with the reins of these different wild animals within us. And that's, you know, really where this card becomes really interesting, because in many of the versions of the Chariot, many versions of the Chariot, the figure isn't even holding the reins. And also in this one, he's like kind of just riding that, you know, he's wildly riding that chariot's roof. And so the movement doesn't come from force or control, it comes from alignment. And this card asks, what is directing your life force right now? Is it fear? Is it old conditionings? Is it someone else's expectations, someone else's story? Or is it your own inner knowing, your own inner compass? Because wherever your energy goes, your life follows. Your energy, your focus. And every thought is a direction. Every boundary is a direction. Every choice is a direction. And yes is a direction, and no is a direction. And the solstice invites us to become conscious of the directions that we are choosing. And not from judgment, but from awareness. You know, awareness and an understanding and knowing of where we want to be. So where have you been scattering your energy? Where have you been abandoning yourself? Where have you been investing your precious life force into things that leave you feeling depleted rather than alive? And so the Chariot says it's time to gather your energy back, to call it home, to stop handing the steering wheel to fear, to confusion, guilt, obligation, or old stories, and like Old stories about like who you have to be, and instead choose your direction deliberately. Choose who you want to be. One of the deepest teachings of this card is that true victory isn't conquering the world. True victory is no longer being divided against yourself. It's reaching a point where your desires, your values, your actions, your truth begin moving in the same direction. They all align. And that's when life force starts to flow. That's the moment that momentum becomes effortless. That's when the road opens. So as we cross into the solstice threshold, maybe the question isn't, what do I want to manifest next? Or, you know, maybe it's just rather, what do I want to allow to guide me? You know, because when you're aligned with your own truth, the path reveals itself. And the Chariot doesn't promise that the journey will be easy, but it does remind us that we are more powerful than we realize, not because we can control everything, but because we can choose what gets to lead us. And so thank you so much for being here. I'd love to know in the comments, what is your one thing that you're choosing to let guide you into this new season? And until next time, take care of yourself, trust your inner compass, and keep finding your wonder.